Welcome. This is Kofi, the Black Critic. Welcome to the channel. I do apologize for the first video that I did. It was interrupted. I got a strike from YouTube, but I took care of that, and it has something to do anyways. But I do apologize for that. Go check out the first installment to this video. I was gonna pretty much pick up where I left off. Right. So where I left off is basically for those of you who don't know that are listening right now, it's basically the whole Dave Chappelle monologue. I went through the whole Kanye West thing and stuff like that. So I'm basically continuing how I feel about Kanye West right now. In part one, I already told you, that I was a fan and explain the de-evolution of Kanye West and everything and stuff like that, yada, yada, yada. So right now I'm going to pick up where I left off on Dave Chappelle monologue, pretty much just basically telling the truth about Kanye West and his anti-Semitic tropes and just basically the de-evolution of Kanye West and his, him not being well, saying a lot of things, being very self-destructive towards himself. Right. And, basically you can't rock with him as pretty much being, how should I put it? Having as Black people, he doesn't share our sentiment when it comes to how we feel about Jewish people in this regard. Right. So without further ado, what I'm going to do, I'm just going to play the audio version of it and pretty much where where he left off, and we're just gonna move on from there. So hold on a moment while I share my screen. And like I said, no, what am I doing? I cannot do that. So what I am gonna do, I'm just basically gonna play the audio. Hold on one sec. Here we go.
I even look at his wife different now. His wife is beautiful, no question about it, but she looks like the kind of chick that James Bond would smash but not trust.
Facts.
Why you got all them documents at his house? What is this? This guy that's famous for not reading his press briefings, now all of a sudden he got 10,000 documents in his house and can't get all the readings.
And that is true. And that's why when people say that Donald Trump is smart, Donald Trump is a genius or whatever, Donald Trump is an idiot. He's a moron. Like doing his press briefings, and even when he's just having his daily meeting, I was like, hey, Mr. President, this is what's on the agenda for today. These are the things that you have to discuss. He'll get like a couple of pages. He's like, oh, this is too much. I'm not reading this. Like his staffers say they will have to condense it to like one page so he could read it, because he said, I'm not going to read all that. Like stupid people can't help but to be intellectually lazy. And I mean, it's either people will have to tell him verbatim what the press briefing says, or they will have to, have like a picture book. I don't know, because it's like, this is something that you expect, like, not even kindergartners. That would be insulting to kindergartners. Even when you read the kindergartners, they'd be like, "Ooh, wow, really?" Him, it has to be like a picture book, and maybe with some Crayola crayons on the side, he could color in while they do the press briefings. The guy's a moron. So this is someone that's obviously not engaged into reading. He's not a reader.
I've been fired from jobs many times in my life, and I will be very honest with you. Sometimes I was fired. I stole things from the office. Staplers, computer mouses, all kinds of stuff. But you know what I never stole from work? Work. The war in Ukraine brought it all into focus. And lucky for everybody in the Western world, the Ukrainians are way better fighters than we thought they'd be. These guys. They killed 10,000 Russians the first week of the war. Even the Vietnamese were like, God damn, that's some good numbers. This before they had weapons. Before we started sending them weapons, they was killing Russians with things you can find around the house. That whole country, Ukraine, is littered with traps like Home Alone. They was stepping on wrecks. How is Russia losing to the Ukraine? That would be like America losing the war to Colorado. Now the midterms are over and everybody's awake. These new whites, man, they're like the whites. They're like newborn babies. Just woke up. Everything white people are mad about, we've been on that. Man, I can't feed my family. Black people like, we've been on that. Man, we can't trust the government. We've been on that.
Deep state. So our Republicans would say is it's a different type of mistrust because you had the government as a government body. You know, there was no such thing as an alternate government. That's how these right wingers, fascists, QAnon people say like, oh, the government is good as long it's holding us down, taking care of us, facilitating us for our needs, and destroying black people's lives and stuff like that. But when the government start using, hey, look, checks and balances, okay, let's really do things in a democratic, fair, humane way, then oh no, deep state.
Man, we should dismantle the FBI. Word to Martin Luther King, bro. We've been on that. Nobody listens to me. When I tell these jokes, you ignore me. My first Netflix special, what did I say? I said, I don't want a sneaker deal because the minute I say something that makes those people mad, they're going to take my sneakers away. And the whole crowd was like, ha, 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 ha. When they see Kanye walking around LA barefoot with his chain out.
And that's the thing that I'm saying. If people keep saying, oh, but Kanye is a billionaire. Kanye, he can call his own shots. Da, 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 da. And man, I forgot a clip. There was a clip. He quoted Jay or what was it, Jay or someone said, hey, get your money right. Once you get your money right, then everything else you can say you're free. But it's stupid at the same time. Your money is right, but your money is solely dependent on consumers. You don't own you just don't own like getting your money based off of royalties or things like that, or you are really established fixture within the economic society that hey, no matter what you say, hey, people are still going to need and rely on your products. You rely your Kanye West basically wealth is based on consumer consumption. So your money is right as long as your mind is right. It makes no sense if your money's right, your mind is right. So I'm saying that to say that he's not smart. He's not a smart person. He's not a genius. Far from it. Because what you're doing is social, economical, political suicide. Right? So it's like I said, he needs help.
This guy lost $1.5 billion in a day.
That's not smart.
$1.5 billion in a day. I saw that. I said, put your chain on, nigga.
Yeah. If Kanye West keep going at this rate, he's going to be worth as much as Nick Cannon. How you go from the richest man in Black America, right, to like Dave said, like in a couple of days, in a week or so, you're the chain out like the Negroes and the drug dealers on the corner flossing. You know what I'm saying? It's dumb. It makes no sense, right? He's like the black version of Michael Richards, aka Kramer, saying it's a nigger, it's a nigger. That's the equivalent to Kanye West right now. DEFCON 3. Like, what are you talking about? And he keeps saying more crazy anti-Semitic shit. Holocaust and everything. Like, we're gonna get into that.
It shouldn't be this scary to talk about anything. It's making my job incredibly difficult. To be honest with you, I'm getting sick of talking to a crowd like this. I love you to death. And I thank you for your support. And I hope they don't take anything away from me. Whoever they are.
Awesome. I love that monologue. That monologue was awesome. Oh snap! Did I or didn't I? Oh yeah, I'm good. I'm good in the hood. I'm good in the neighborhood. All right, so yeah, I love that monologue because nothing that Dave said was a lie. You know what I'm saying? He was very compassionate, very understanding, historically, politically correct. You know what I'm saying? Not in the I want to protect your feelings. No, he was just actually, correct, factual on the things that he was talking about, obviously in a Dave Chappelle fashion. One of my favorite comedians is Dave Chappelle, Chris Rock. I like those guys. So yeah, so moving on to the next segment. So the thing that's aching me, we all knew Kanye West issues, had issues, and like I said before, after his mother died, he he basically was going on a downward spiral when it comes to everything, as far as how he sees the world, views the world, things like that, you know, and he was on the right path, I'm saying Kanye West was going to be like really extremely conscious, but what happened to his mother, he just devolves into what we're seeing right now, basically just shaking our head and nodding our head like, damn, hope that brother gets help, so I'm gonna go a little trip down memory lane to because I'm setting everything up so you guys could see where I'm coming from when it comes to how what Kanye West said and doing and how certain people are reacting and how some people are not reacting, and there's different calibers to people's reaction, and I really find it disingenuous in some cases and understandable in others. So let's go a trip down memory lane and let's see if you guys remember this.
When you hear about slavery for 400 years, for 400 years, that sounds like a choice. like, you was there for 400 years and it's all of y'all? It's like we're mentally in prison. I like the word prison because slavery goes too direct to the idea of blacks. It's like slavery, Holocaust Jews, slavery is blacks.
No, the back.
So I don't care about her commentary. But again, when he said this is an insult to all black people in the Western Hemisphere, aka in the Americas, from Canada all the way to South America, Brazil. So you talk about millions of people, right? Hundreds of millions of people that Kanye West just insulted by saying slavery is a choice. So I'm not going to go, I believe my audience is very smart. I'm not going to belittle my audience and explain what slavery is and why he's wrong and stuff like that. That's like I'm not gonna do that to y'all. You know what I'm saying? But basically saying we all know that slavery is something that's forced upon you, right? Someone taking your free will and forcing you to do what they want, right? So that's what slavery is in a nutshell. You know what I'm saying? Say someone taking it's your free will, so it's not a choice. If someone comes up, right, and they rob you, you know what I'm saying, you didn't make a choice to get robbed. You know what I'm saying? If you're driving and you're doing everything you're supposed to do as a responsible driver, and someone T-bones you, you didn't make a choice to get in an accident. All right, so we understand that. So what he's saying again, like I said, is extremely insulting. It's belittling, and I don't care if it's coming from a black person. You know what I'm saying? It's not your skin that exonerates you from saying something stupid. In fact, you should be held more accountable for saying something just as freaking stupid, right? You should be held more accountable for saying that. You know what I'm saying? So like, like Dr. Claude Anderson said, and this always gets sticks in my head when we're talking about truth, when we're talking about the economic condition that Black people are in right now. And Dr. Claude Anderson said, I don't care if it's coming out of black mouth or white mouth, but Black people haven't moved one iota since the Civil War, aka Reconstruction. Right? It's all about the truth. Right? And same thing when it comes to a lie or something that's perceived as a lie. When someone's giving you information, yeah, it's good to look at the character and where it's coming from, but at the same time, pay attention more to the information and see if what they're actually saying is actual and factual.
Backlash to that started immediately when TMZ staffer and podcaster Van Lathan stood up and confronted Kanye West. Have a look at that.
The rest of us in society have to deal with these threats to our lives. We have to deal with the marginalization that's come from the 400 years of slavery that you said for our people was a choice. Frankly, I'm disappointed, I'm appalled, and brother, I am unbelievably hurt by the fact that you have morphed into something, to me, that's not real.
Exactly, and the brother couldn't have said it any better. That's where Kanye's gonna go to hug. He's like, I think you're gonna hurt me right now and stuff like that. I'm like, okay, come on, man. Well, I understand why Kanye feel like that, because he's like, whoa, you know what I'm saying? Because anybody that has racial pride or integrity is gonna check him. And the beige looking dude next to the TMZ dude further back, he didn't kick back like that. He could be mulatto or whatever. So I kind of understand his position. He was like, okay, that's messed up. Keep it moving. But as a Black person like that, I agree with everything that he just said. And this is the de-evolution of Kanye West, right? This is the de-evolution of Kanye West. I don't know, in his circle around at that time, people were saying, hey, man, pull them back. Like, yo, like I said before, what's going on? Why would you say something like that? All right, bro, let me educate you on why that's not true. Let's go to DC, the Black History Museum, the real Black History Museum, not the failed bitch ass American, aka FBA hot dog stand that he's in California. He's calling the Black History Museum. Let's go to the one in DC. Here in New York, let's go to the one in New York. There's a burial ground here in downtown Manhattan in New York. I've been there. It's just educate yourself on your own history, right? And the thing I love about Jewish people and all people that have racial pride, whether you agree with it, the Holocaust and what they've been through did happen. I'm just talking about the religious aspect. Even if from a religious standpoint, if you don't believe it, doesn't matter. They believe it, and that's part of their culture. You have to honor that. The thing I love about people like that is that they have cultural pride, and you cannot tread on them no matter what whatsoever. You know why? Because the whole community holds them responsible. It's not like, I was talking to my boy the other day. It's not like Black people are very divisive and very selfish, especially when it comes to diaspora. And some Africans, some of them are very tribalistic in a sense where, oh, wow, they're talking about those Blacks. They're not really talking about me. No, stupid ass. In this world, they see all Black people as one, because they see it like, hey, look, if you're same skin folk, that means y'all kinfolk. It doesn't matter if you have different political ideologies. Doesn't matter if you have different religions. Doesn't matter if you live somewhere different. Doesn't matter if you have cultural differences. It does not matter. They all see it as one. So, like all the people in the world, they realize that when it comes to acting on a global stage, they have to go as one unit, right? So when you assault people that have that in their mind, the Jews don't go like, well, I think he was talking about the German Jews, but I'm a Russian Jew or a Polish Jew, so let Kanye go have at it. No, they don't do that. Like the whole Asian crime bill, hate bill, or whatever, right? So-called Asian hate bill. Because it wasn't like a whole bunch of people doing that to them. Hey, people are doing wrong things that they got killed. They say hate crime bill that they need to be protected, even though Black people and Joe Biden is not doing nothing to help Black people out with that. That's been being killed here for hundreds of years. like 3 Asian people die and a couple get assaulted, and they need a bill. Black people are getting killed and slaughtered. We'll think about it. But anyway, black people operate. That's why this happens. Black people operate in a way where we're extremely divisive amongst each other, and we don't come together as a community and say, you know what, I denounce what Kanye West said, and he needs to apologize. Right? We don't hold those people accountable, because then we make an example out of him or anyone that says something disparaging against black people. Then everyone knows, like, yo, you say something about black people, they're gonna get on your ass, and it's gonna be crazy. You know what I'm saying? But we don't have that fear. We don't have that fear. I mean, we don't have that. We don't have people that have a fear of doing us harm, because there's never any real repercussions. There isn't.
Now, since then, Kanye West has released a flurry of tweets. Here is just some of what he said. He said, of course I know that slaves did not get shackled and put on a boat by free will. My point is for us to have stayed in that position, even though the numbers were on our side, means we were mentally enslaved. He also said, Andrew, his statement was an example.
And that's also stupid. He's trying to backpedal, but that's also stupid, because mentally enslaved, like, again, he needs to be educated. I'm not going to bore you all again with the details as far as like what chattel slavery was.
Of free thought, that it was just an idea, and that now he's being attacked for presenting new ideas.
And obviously people are just not responding well to the comments, and it's led to a firestorm.
Yeah, so again, bullshit. You know what I'm saying? No one really, we, I have to say we as a community didn't get on Kanye saying, hey, yo, what are you doing? What, like, you got to retract that. That's ridiculous. Get some education. So hold on one moment. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe. Hold on one, guys. I'm trying to get one little thing together. Okay, so we are going to go on to the next segment here. And basically, the next segment is going to be, because like I was saying, we're going to get what Kanye West said. And like I said before about the whole Me Too movement, it's very, how should I qualify my statement? Now, like, based upon what Dave Chappelle said, it's stupid for me to look to, like he said, to go on Flint, Michigan, and think, oh, there's a lot of black people here, so Flint, Michigan rules all the black people in Flint, Michigan rules Flint, Michigan. That's not true. Same thing. You go in Hollywood, there's a lot of influence. Again, sometimes, you know what, I'm even going to say that. There's a lot of influence in Hollywood, right? And there's a lot of Jewish people in Hollywood, like Dave Chappelle said. There's a lot. Does that mean that all of them, they control it? They're the puppet masters, they pull all the strings? No. But do they have pull in there? Yes. And I use the Me Too movement as a example, because the Me Too movement, it wasn't, you see what Harvey Weinstein did. It wasn't about, oh, Harvey Weinstein is Jewish, so this is why he's doing it. No, had nothing to do with that. It had to do with Harvey Weinstein having enough influence, and he understood the power dynamic, right, to make and break people's careers. So he used his influence as he used his influence to be predatorial towards women, right? But you can't separate the fact that he's Jewish at the same time. So if there are a lot of people like that have influence like Harvey Weinstein, obviously Jewish people that have influence like Harvey Weinstein that don't do things like Harvey Weinstein. But the point you need to just understand is Harvey Weinstein's power. If he does something good with it or not, he has power, and this is based upon he could use the power for good or for bad. He used it for bad. So he's a Jewish man using it for bad. And obviously he is the only lonely minority of Jewish people that do that. So you have other Jewish people that would do it for influence to push movies, films, stuff like that. Steven Spielberg, right? I believe him to be Jewish too, and Steven Spielberg does a lot of good work, does a lot of good movies. You never hear anything about Steven Spielberg doing anything unethical. But again, I'm just saying to say that point. So I'm gonna lay certain things out for as because I'm gonna have you give like a little rant and a diatribe of a Jewish man that saw what Kanye West was doing. And obviously, he's extremely upset. I'm not dinging him for being extremely upset. He's supposed to be extremely upset, rightfully so. I don't think he. Well, we'll get into that. I don't think he's being disingenuous. I really feel that he believes in what he's saying, not when it comes to denouncing Kanye West's statements. When it comes to other things, so I'm gonna lay the history out of Jewish people when it comes to Black people. And I'm going to say, in my personal experience, like, I had a lot of Jewish teachers. I wouldn't be who I am if it wasn't for 2 to 3 Jewish teachers who really encouraged me to do better in school, who helped me and facilitate my need and my love to know history. And that'll be Mr. Schwartz, Mr. Siegel, and I would say Mrs. Klein too a little bit, and Mr. Osroff. Mr. Osroff. Shout out to Van Buren in Queens, Van Buren, right? These teachers were very influential and very honest with me and very encouraging. They just wanted to see just students, and it was a majority of Black students. You had some Hispanics in there. You have maybe some Asians and Indians in there, stuff like that. But they cared about all their students, and like I said, me personally speaking, I owe them a lot. And when I came to that realization, they were probably, I really wanted to thank them. They probably passed or because it's been years. So anyway, I just want to give that disclaimer to myself. And again, fair use. I'm about to share a video, right, that briefly explains. Again, this is not a generalization. This is just a historical, actual factual historical account. So I mean, when I was doing obviously my own independent studies and things like that, just trying to find out on, learning about the diaspora, learning about racism in America and things like that. Me growing up in New York, I saw a lot of things that wasn't even going on, that I knew what was going on when I was like a teenager and stuff like that. It was just very pivotal. The 80s was like a golden age to me for Black intellectuals because we got a huge platform. And the reason for that, I think the reason why we got a huge platform for that was basically because I think our intelligence was being questioned. But the thing about it, unlike now, we had professors. You had Cornel West, you had Dr. Asa Hilder, you had Dr. Ben, Dr. Clark, Dr. Leonard Jeffries. You had a lot of Black scholars and intellectuals on huge platforms, talk shows, and we really took it to them. You know what I'm saying? We really showed Black excellence back then. So right now, I'm going to show you a little bit of history between the relationship between Black people and should I do it this way? Yeah, do it this way. The relationship between black people and Jewish people. Now, it will make sense once we hold on. It will make sense once we hold on. That's the wrong one. It will make sense once I continue further and you see where I am coming from exactly. Hold on one moment. I'm trying to find the exact point. All right. I am back. So I am going to play a video of Dr. Leonard Jeffries, right? And he is going to explain the historical aspect and the relationship between black people and Jews. And to give you a little backstory here, the reason why it was a whole back and forth during the 80s. You had a black professor, oh my gosh, I forgot his name, that taught at university, and just going over the manifests of slavery manifests and documents, he found out that Jewish people were a part of the transatlantic slave trade. Well, they obviously they weren't the overseers and stuff like that, but they're the ones that that did the financing. So there's paperwork obviously to be done. So ships were insured, slaves were insured, everything was insured because, like I said, it was like a legitimate business. So that article came out, stuff like that, and it was like a whole big wave. Oh, anti-Semitic, anti-Semitic. Oh, Professor Jeffries is anti-Semitic, and he got a lot of publicity, right? Basically saying, no, I'm not being anti-Semitic. You know what I'm saying? What are you talking about? I'm just reciting history. But again, when you say something about, this is called racial pride. When you say something about a people that people don't agree, whether you tell them the truth or not, everyone galvanized, come together to refute it, but they couldn't do it intellectually. But anyway, I'm going to go to the expert, what Professor Leonard Jeffries is saying.
Just play the clip. The whole program over again didn't have to happen here, so we're not going to have much information. I'm glad that you have, and we can dialogue. Now, what I would like to say is that when the New York Times, with Berger writing this article, that I was anti-Semitic, anti-white, had this crazy theory, when that was put in the paper, April the 20th, 1990, 50 major media from around the world descended upon me. British broadcasting companies, Australian Times, Canadian broadcasting companies, CNN, they were all on my page. We said we do not single out Jews, we do not single out any particular group. We talk about the collectivity of interest against African people, the Western citizens. But because the vote of regions was taking place,
so you see that we're not anti-Semitic. We're not against any black people or I mean, we're not against Jewish people or white people or anything like that. We're just teaching African history and African studies.
I have to raise these the crazy theories of these professors. That we have a theory of melanin that says black people are superior. We do not have a theory of melanin that says black people are superior. That's what's put in the paper, and they run it every day we look. They have. We do not have a theory of black people being superior intellectually because of melanin. It's a joke, but it's been run and run and run into the ground. But there was a man who was interested in what we were saying. His name was Edward I. Cox, the former mayor of this city. And he wrote me a letter and asked for me to come down to explain myself and bring the materials and books, etc. I said, come to my office because I can't bring my whole library. And he said, well, I can't even do too much for media thing. So I went to his office with dozens of these books in Rockefeller Plaza. And here is our conversation. We have a tape of that. Both of us taped it, and we have a transcript of it. And here's our conversation. when we ask the question about enslavement. Let me ask a couple of questions. Okay, this is in reference to enslavement. Because Diane Rabbit said in her article, and she says it again and again, yes. Okay, what was said was that Diane Rabbit in the article that she wrote said that Africans sold Africans to Africans and Africans sold them to white folks and Arabs. And just left it at that. And here's my answer. I said that everybody was involved in the enslavement of African people. This is May the 16th, 1990. The Catholic Church initiated the slave trade in the early 1400s and 1500s. The Pope apologized in the 1980s when he went to Africa. The Protestant Reformation was born at the same.
All right. Oh, don't want to do that. Nope. Stop. Nope. Don't want to get dinged. All right. So I'm gonna play the second part for that. So. It's low, but I think that you guys heard that basically because they like to say, "Oh, Africans sold Africans." There's a whole, like I said, it was a whole thing back then in those days, and basically, Dr. Leonard Jeffries was saying like everybody you like to blame Africans, right? We all knowing that they try to take advantage of what was going on in Africa. Europeans were trying to take advantage of what was going on in Africa, with Africans pretty much disagreeing and warring with each other, and they capitalized on that. Africans just didn't say, "Hey, take these people and put them in slavery." We had no idea what that was until it was too late. But anyway, so that's what Dr. Jeffries was basically saying, like, "Hey, look, everybody had a hand in slavery." And you had Europeans that had their hand in slavery. You had the Catholic Church that had their hands in slavery, right? So, and obviously we know there was no slave market in West Africa until Europeans came. So let me show you the rest of of that, of what Dr. Jeffries was saying. Hold on one moment. Make sure I got my ducks in a row here. All right. So I'm going to continue playing. And that's Phil Donahue. You guys can check out the whole thing for yourself here on YouTube. He was on a Phil Donahue show. And you can check the whole thing out for yourself. It's very good. It's very good. The thing I love about Phil Donahue, he had a lot of, like, anything wasn't too controversial. He'll have, if Phil Donahue still had a talk show, he would have had Kanye West and Kyrie Irving up there. You know what I'm saying? So that's the thing I like about Phil Donahue, if he agrees or disagrees. So I'm going to share this and let the good Dr. Leonard Jeffries, which is still alive, we need to give him his flowers while he's here. He put in a lot of work for the diaspora, especially here in Africa too as well, but here in America.
Institutionalized, and it was compromised on the altar of enslavement. Luther's Reformation began in 1617. 1516, the Occidental, the contract to take African systematically to the Spanish New World, was instituted. The Protestant Reformation is born at the same time as the systematic enslavement of Africans in the Spanish New World. It was the Pope and the Spanish throne that agreed to this enslavement. At the same time in Europe, much of the merchant banking trade was handled by Jews. We're not talking about hundreds of thousands or millions of Jews poor in their community. We're talking about merchants. Merchants have no nationality. They have no religion. Money is their religion. On the altar of profit.
Did you hear that? He says Jews did the banking system. They financed the whole transatlantic slave trade. And he said, basically, he was saying that they were just merchants. Merchants have no religion or race. Their religion is money. I'm going to play that again.
Poor in their community. We're talking about merchants. Merchants have no trade was handled by Jews. We're not talking about hundreds of thousands or millions of Jews poor in their community. We're talking about merchants. Merchants have no nationality. They have no religion. Money is their religion. On the altar of profit making, we're not talking about rabbis. We're not talking about Jewish scholars. We're not talking about Jews who have been struggling to survive in Europe. We're talking about people who handle the money. And so, what have we to do?
is to get at the bottom of this matter. Get the Jewish people who called me and gave me the documentation. Get the Jewish scholars who called me and gave me books and references. No, but
that is a beautiful rebuttal. So that is just beautiful. And that's what history is. He has historical accounts of the people that were doing it by Jewish scholars and other sources. It's not, well, Professor Leonard Jeffries has a theory that no, that's not what we do in academia. In academia, we have to prove what we're saying. We can't say something. If you're going to say something that's not true, well, we say, well, no, we theorize this, that. But we're talking about history here. So you say this is a historical account. The man's going to have sources. And he came to show and prove. And I think this is in the 80s, and I see this a lot of times in the 80s, during the 80s and early 90s, when a black person, when they challenge a black person that has the credentials, and these white people doubt that they have these credentials, we shine like the sun and we make them look stupid. And then what kicks in? White guilt. Because you can't contest with what Professor Leonard Jeffries is saying, or most black scholars back then. All they're gonna do is start, be completely disingenuous without, saying they should just leave it alone. White people should just leave it alone. Some of them may try to double down their ignorance or just pretend or just pivot to something else. But what he's saying is, I love this back then. I wish I knew I was more intuitive back then, but I was like a little kid.
this point is so crucial that it has to be put in the hands of Jewish scholars to bring it out in a way that it should be brought out. It has to be put in the hands of Catholic scholars to bring it out so the Catholic Church involvement can be looked at and it will not be considered anti-gay. We've got to get some clarity on this issue. Yes, Africans sold Africans to slavery, but the slave system did not come out of the African experience. It was developed in Europe. It was conceived and planned and produced.
Exactly. This is an African scholar. Slavery did not come out of African traditions and African people. It was something that the Europeans have done among themselves. And the Arabs. The Arabs were the first people to perpetuate slavery on us, right? And the Europeans knew about that. So the Europeans, the Arabs are freaking, they're worse when it comes to enslaving the black people, and they're still doing it to this day. But the Europeans took that same model and they applied it, and it was more of a chattel slavery, right? So what Dr. Leonard Jeffries is saying, and white people and ignorant ass black people like to say, oh, well, we sold each other and stuff like that, and just leave it at that without giving it any context or nuance, is basically depending on, a white person said this, so it must be true. It's self-loathing. It's them not knowing their own history to research it. And I said this before, black people are the only people that are told they're supposed to be responsible for their own goddamn enslavement. Like, you can't tell the Jews that they're responsible for the Holocaust. And they had some Jewish people that were collaborating with the Nazis, right? But it wasn't all of them. It was some of them, right? But no one dare says, well, you're responsible for the Holocaust. They had a lot of Native Americans that worked with the U.S. government, right? You even, saying that the U.S. government that broke treaties and gave them land and ended up breaking treaties and just Native American people losing land. You got the Wabos and the we've been here already Negroes basically saying that I'm Choctaw, I'm Cherokee, and all this other bullshit. There's a little bit of truth to that. I'm Seminole. Yeah, but those same tribes had black people as slaves. Some of you were in the tribe either due to birth, because some of you had children with some of the Native American people, which is not a lot of us, and some of us were slaves and within that community, or some and maroons. But when enslavement ended, you were free, but you were kind of like an unofficial part of that tribe. That is not who you are originally. But even those Native Americans did those things to themselves at the end. They did it because they thought it would help them, but they're not responsible for losing their land. Oh, well, you know what? You Native Americans, you're responsible for your own Holocaust and your own enslavement and destruction of your own culture because you just no one says that. When it's black people, oh no, it's your own damn fault, because it all goes to this inheritable dysfunction and backwardsness that black people have, that if you know it or not, consciously or unconsciously, that we buy into, that we just inherently stupid and backwards. And this is how this gets perpetuated. And it gets perpetuated within white society due to white guilt or not want to have any accountability, like the good doctor said.
It was part of the largest trade that was going on for hundreds of years in Europe, and which people in the Middle East and others were involved in the enslavement of the Slavs. That's not the way you look in this speech.
See, he got him. He got him. Now Phil's going to say, Donahue's going to say a bunch of, oh, what you didn't say today. He just clarified it.
Professor, you never Whenever we raised the question, we never raised it about one group. And you certainly did in that. No, that's not the whole speech. And you just provided clips. Well, I did. Same process that the New York Post.
And the thing I love about this, the black people in the crowd, yo, they are in solidarity. I don't know what type, the generation or two after me, like, I don't know what's wrong with y'all fools, man. Like the black people and older black people, yo, we stuck together. And you can see within the audience, and you look at old clips and you talk to the old school people, like my father-in-law, he used to actually go to Brooklyn College and all these other universities to hear these men talk. It was pride back in the day for all you New Yorkers or people that live in Jersey. You used to have a radio station called WLIB. And WLIB during Sundays used to have like talk radio. And it was basically just on black stuff. They play a lot of calypso, reggae, Caribbean music, stuff like that. It was cool. And Dr. Amos Wilson used to be on there a lot. I used to listen to Dr. Amos Wilson. Sometimes you have some audio of Dr. Amos Wilson on there. In the 80s and 90s, it was like a beautiful, glorious time for black people, man. I'm telling you.
In the New York Times, the same process that news, only Newsday put the whole speech. Very good. There's been a media control over the process. People have wanted to put the whole speech on the channels of our major TVs have been suppressed. Newspaper columnists who wanted to talk about it have been suppressed. Your point is on the record.
Exactly. So what basically he's saying, he did a speech. Hold on a second. Because he's trying to clarify, because they're trying to coin him as a hate monger, as an anti-Semitic hate monger, Dr. Leonard Jeffries. So what he is basically saying is that that's true. They took one section from the speech where he was going in on Jewish people on a historical standpoint, right? And they just said, oh, he's being anti-Semitic. And they're chopping up clips. And this is the 80s, so, not everyone could. You just know social media where you could post the whole thing and tell the truth of the matter on your own behalf, right? So the media was very powerful, and that's what they were doing. That's the narrative that they portrayed Dr. Leonard Jeffries, and that's why he's on Phil Donahue to clarify that up. And Phil Donahue is being a part of that media, right? And he probably didn't know any better. Dr. Leonard Jeffries is destroying him on the premise that he has, that he's sharing basically with the media's premise. And Dr. Leonard Jeffries came here. If you saw the clip, he got books and everything. Everything that he says on his speech. This, like I said, I know I keep repeating myself, but it was a beautiful, glorious time to be black, to be intelligent, to be about yourself, to be about your people, right? In opposition of anybody. The Jews was going after him, and Dr. Leonard Jeffries still has his job, right? He retired, but he still have his job. They were going for his job, right? But he's saying the things that I got from Jewish scholars. I got from white people. These are historical accounts. This is not me saying that. And he even said when he was explaining to Phil Donahue is that I can't even say this for the truth to get out, because if I say they say I'm being anti-Semitic, they're looking at who's this coming from, not what's being said. He said it has to be Jewish scholars have to say that for it in order for it to be to it to be valid. And he got his sources from Jewish scholars, is what he's saying. To the point, Ed Koch, the mayor at that time, wanted his head. And he said he spoke to Ed Koch. Just check that clip out. I'm lining everything up to let you know how the times have changed, right? How you could feel a certain way and know, okay, how I feel is not necessarily true. You could hold on a second. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to ignore the comment section y'all. I'm gonna show some love back. All right, cool. All right, so it's hold on, let me put hold on one second, y'all. Boom, boom, boom. I'm gonna put the link in the chat just in case if anybody has something to say and want to come up. You're free to. So I'm just showing you the difference that's between the power dynamic of how things are. Like you could say things, whether it be the truth, whether it be a lie or whatever, but just be grounded in the truth. And there's a way to go about it and the way to say it, right? As long as you're factual and what you're saying is absolutely correct. And Dr. Leonard Jeffries is a perfect example of that, of how you could speak truth to power, even though that the people that could cancel you may not like it. They really can't cancel you because you're not coming from a hateful place. We're African people here, right? We're African people here. Everybody, like what Dr. Clark says, we have no friends, right? And if you rock with black people, fine. You're one of our friends too. But we don't have to lie when we tell our truth. We don't have to. We simply don't have to. So I'm gonna move on to the next segment here. Gave you a little taste of that, and you're gonna see where I'm going with all of this. Hold on,
with Create Studio Pro.
Hold on a second. Give me a moment while I set up what I'm going to be getting into next. So what I'm going to show right now, because I did spoke about, there was a Jewish guy that kind of went on a rant, and like I said, rightfully so, about what Kanye West did. And basically, I'm gonna let him talk. I'm gonna let him go in, get his feelings out, and everything. And now that I laid everything down as far as like what Kanye West said, and a little small, quick, brief, actual factual history between Jews and black people, right? Not that Kyrie Irving bullshit that he puts, that fake Hebrew nonsense. You know what I'm saying? And another thing about the stupid ass Hebrews, right? They're saying they're the real Hebrews, and I don't know if you guys ever heard of it, say that King James is black. So I think they only said that because the King James Bible is usually the Bible that we all hear used in the West or whatever and stuff like that, for the most part. And I'm not going to disparage my brother, but someone that's in my family that consider themselves a Negro Israelite, he was saying that King James is black. And I said, if King James is black, then King James is a coon and a sellout. Because King James is also a part of the transatlantic slave trade. The transatlantic slave trade was happening around that time, and King James was a part of it. So you could take that black and white picture, tint it a little bit to say he's black. He's a coon. Like all other, if you believe that Jews were black, they're freaking sellouts. So anyway, I just want to give that little caveat. But anyway, so I'm going to go and I'm going to share what a Jewish man heard what Kanye West was saying, and as he should, completely appalled, completely disgusted. And I'm going to agree with most of what he said, but I'm going to critique what he said, especially based upon what we heard what we know about Kanye West's mental stability, what Dave Chappelle said about Kanye West's mental stability, which is not stable at all, and how we should view things honestly and just view things honestly and take them for what they are. All right, so I'm going to share this.
I will not allow this hate monger to this
with the argument. I like
being fashion forward. Julie Hitler, he says.
the table. See good things. What's some of the
You could skip this ad.
Sorry about that. Sorry.
During which former human Kanye West said, I like Hitler. And even worse, which is somehow possible, said this.
I don't like Nazis, and I don't like what some of the mafias are doing either. I love Jewish people, but I also love Nazis. Oh, man. Well, I have to disagree with that.
Alex Jones. So if you guys don't know who this is InfoWars. Alex Jones, far left, right wing, obviously right winger, because right wingers, they believe in conspiracies. Alex Jones I think is one of the biggest settlements in defamation history. He has to pay like hundreds of millions, I think close to $1 billion in restitution to the families that he disparaged by saying that Sandy Hook, well, like it's a bunch of Republicans saying that Sandy Hook was a false flag operation to get your guns because the Democrats want your guns and all this other bullshit and nonsense, right? And he doubled down on it. Like, just look into that for those of you that don't know. One family is like so horrible. One family had to move like 3 times because since Sandy Hook, he kept up with this narrative of saying that it's a false flag operation. The parents are actors. The kids are actors. I heard during the testimony, one father, like I couldn't imagine this, man. I would have went fucking ape shit crazy. A father said at his son's grave site, his followers, these right-wing, left-wing nut followers, went to his son's gravesite and desecrate his son's gravesite, basically saying that this is a fake gravesite, it's not real, and just desecrating his son's burial site. And you had a lot of families that Alex Jones did that to, where his followers, this is what they did. But the Democrats are more worse than the Republicans. I hate people to call it even. The Republicans, the Democrats got their own problems and issues with black people and stuff like that, but you can't call the fucking shit even. There's no Democratic version of this, right? So Alex Jones, QAnon believer, saying the frogs are gay, Pizzagate, Earth is flat, whatever, any crazy lunatic thing, Alex Jones probably believes in it. So if Alex Jones is saying, whoa, slow down, Kanye, I don't know about that Hitler stuff, you're going too far.
You're not Hitler. You're not a Nazi. You don't deserve to be called that and demonized. Well, I see good things about Hitler also, and I'm done with that. I'm done with the classifications. Every human being has something of value that they brought to the table, especially Hitler.
What value? Why? And Alex Jones trying to keep pulling him from the edge. Like, whoa. Trying to pull him back. And Kanye was like, yo, get off me. And he doubles down on the stupid things that he said. What value did Hitler as a human being bring to the planet? I don't think one human being is worth millions of Jewish people that you like. Why am I even justifying that? That's just dumb to say that. No. He has no value. Look, put it like this. Hitler had value until he started a political career. How about that? Because at least at that point, from what I know, he didn't kill anybody or have anybody killed. The moment he became the leader of Germany Adolf Hitler with the Nazi Party, which is a fascist, and we all know fascism. Look it up. Fascism means extremely conservative, far right-wing ideology in government. That's when Hitler no longer had value, when he did that.
Especially Hitler, he says. And then he goes on this piece of garbage.
In case you didn't know, the gentleman speaking, he is Jewish.
This bastard cowering behind a mask when he says his most incendiary things. Thinking he's being fashion forward instead he's being hate forward. Went on to deny the Holocaust and the realities of it. Please play this clip.
I like Hitler. I don't like Hitler. And I know you're trying to be shocking with that. I'm not trying to be shocking. I like Hitler. I do not. The Holocaust.
It's like the second time Alex Jones trying to like, yo, help him. Like, okay, I don't like Hitler. No, I like Hitler. I like, but you Negroes think that, look, Kanye West needs psychiatric help, not evaluation. We already know that he's crazy. He even said himself that he's bipolar and all this other stuff, right? But you Negroes that still say that Kanye West doesn't need to be canceled, right? How? Why? How do you come back from this? What person in history, right, says things like this and the community still backs them? Like I use like Michael Richards. It's like no coming back from that. You know, Kramer at the Laugh Factory saying, oh, 50 years ago, you're being hung by a noose and all this other stuff. Obviously, yeah, he's not that, you know, well-known character, you know, in Hollywood, you know, he's not like an A-list celebrity, but there's no one coming back from that. To me, what Kanye West is doing, he's like the Black Michael Richards. You know what I'm saying? He's saying a lot of incendiary, vicious, nasty, evil things. Like denying people suffering. That's what Republicans do anyway. You know what I'm saying? If it's people who they don't like or deem credible or desirable or anything like that, you know, they downplay your suffering. And this is what he's doing. This is the Republican playbook.
Is not what happened. Let's look at the facts of that. And Hitler has a lot of redeeming qualities. You know, it's like he had a really cool outfit and stuff, and he was a really good.
He said, what Kanye West said, the Holocaust really didn't happen. He said that.
Architect, and so you're in love with the look of it. And he didn't kill 6 million Jews. That's just like factually incorrect.
That's crazy. That is crazy to say something like that.
Bastard will be stopped now. This is over. I will not allow this hate monger to spread hate yet again in this world against my people or against any good people in this planet, against any marginalized group or any group in this planet. This ill-educated monster who is only in it for himself, that can no longer stand. He will not be allowed to normalize white supremacy in this world, and he will not be allowed to normalize Adolf Hitler, the monster of all monsters who killed factually 6 million Jews and up to 5 million other people. Do you understand? That will not ever again stand. He turned down the invite to go to the Museum of Tolerance. Go to a concentration camp in Germany, you moron, you despicable human being in it only for yourself. My family was killed by Hitler and the Nazis during the Holocaust. This right here is my grandfather. This is my hero, okay? My grandfather, his parents right here, slaughtered by Adolf Hitler. His 4 brothers slaughtered by Adolf Hitler. It's my grandpa on my dad's side. My grandpa on my mom's side. This is him right here. Slaughtered. He was not slaughtered. His parents slaughtered by Adolf Hitler. His 4 brothers slaughtered. This is my grandparents, my grandmother on my mom's side. Her 3 brothers and parents slaughtered by Adolf Hitler. That's 17 deaths just in my family alone. How dare you say it to my face? Take off your mask and say it to my damn face. You son of a... I wish I could swear on the air right now. Where's the condemnation from every entertainer? Where's the condemnation from his best friend, hopefully former friend, Kanye West? Jay-Z rather. Where's the condemnation from my buddy in comedy, Dave Chappelle, who normalized this kind of anti-Semitic statement in his SNL monologue the other day? Why aren't you coming out, Dave, and saying, I was wrong and I condemn in the harshest terms everything that Kanye West is saying?
Bull fucking shit. I agree with everything he said. When it comes to Jay-Z, fine, whatever, right? When it comes to, we just heard what Dave said. How did Dave normalize what Kanye West was saying? I want him to qualify that statement. That makes no sense. That absolutely makes no sense. Dave Chappelle, to the point where Dave Chappelle actually said, hey, you got to say that Jewish people run everything, right? I understand how you can connect the dots, right? But that's not the truth, right? To say something like that out loud is stupid. Like, you go to a black neighborhood, unfortunately, and think that, oh, I go to Brooklyn or New York City or Flint, Michigan, and you see a whole bunch of black people, oh, that means they must run it. No, that's stupid. That's a stupid thing to say. He even used black people as an example to say why you can't, just because you see it to be that way doesn't necessarily mean that it's true. So he's wrong in that regard. And this is the point where I'm trying to get when it comes to this whole Dave on Kanye West thing. From since when Kanye West said that slavery was a choice, right? The Jewish community didn't have all this energy. Other white people didn't have all this energy. Nobody wanted to cancel Kanye West. No company that he was working with, no talent agency that he was working with pulled any of his business deals or endorsement with Kanye West. Everybody was Gucci. Everybody was fine. No one had a problem with it. Nobody had a problem with it. He just insulted hundreds of millions of black people, but that's okay. That's okay. That's fine. Right? Again, I understand him being upset, but spare me your fake tears when it comes to, hey, his buddies need to saying pull him to the side and say, hey, you need to stop that. Where were your friends? Where were your buddies? Where was the Jewish community? Where was the white community? Where was the LGBTQ community? Where were all other non-black communities saying to say that, hey, look, we're not going to stand for this. We're not going to stand for this anymore. What Kanye West said was bad, and we're going to pull out of the business deals. Y'all didn't say shit. Y'all was quiet as a goddamn church mouse. And y'all didn't give a rat's ass. But on the other hand, I also say it's our fault because we didn't ostracize Kanye West. I didn't even think we did a little bit. So what we're saying basically to the community, besides that brother in TMZ, and I'm pretty sure me, like a whole lot of other black people, shared his same sentiments when they called out Kanye West, basically saying, yo, bro, you full of shit right now, and I'm disappointed in you. But us as the community, your Jay-Z's and all of them didn't say, nah, you can't do that, man. You can't do that. He should have got ostracized and begged to get back in the good graces of the black community. That's called racial pride, racial integrity, holding everybody accountable for how they view us and how they talk about us, whether you're in the group or out the group. That's how it should be. Spare me, again, to the Jewish dudes, spare me you trying to say that we should have the same condemnation only because he's talking about your people right now, which is disgusting. But he attacked black people first. And where were you? Look, TYT, yeah, they talk about, they hold white people, white supremacists accountable and stuff like that. That does a lot of damage and a lot of injustice to black people. I give that to TYT. I give that to them. But they did not have this same energy. He does not have that same energy. Be consistent. Be consistent. And that's why I can't take. Look, it's his own people and stuff like that, but I cannot take you that seriously. I'm gonna be just as upset as you were when Kanye West was talking about black people. I'm gonna say that's sad, that's unfortunate, and I'm gonna keep on living my fucking life like how you guys did.
I call on all good-minded people in this planet to condemn in the strongest terms Kanye West from society ever again. He's done. There's no coming back from this. You are ostracized from.
You hear this? He wants everybody. Everyone, go back into your recollection when Kanye West did the White Lives Matter T-shirt, and which is recently with Candace Owens, and he did the Slavery Was a Choice. Were liberal white people on the left this outraged? Obviously, they shared their disgust, but were they outraged? The only people that were outraged were black people. Negroes and Republican goons, obviously, they're going to make excuses. That's fine. They're a lost cause. They're a lost cause, right? We get that. We don't care about them, right? But where was that same energy? Where was that same energy? Now you want us to have to have Kanye West as an outcast. Very interesting. I find this very interesting.
Life. Why are you ostracized? Because you don't deserve it. You are willing to throw an entire group of people and endanger the lives of Jews around the planet so you can make more money and get more fans and hang out.
Kanye West is not that influential. Like, hate's already there. Kanye West is like Donald Trump. Donald Trump is a horrible human being, but Donald Trump is just a symptom to a disease, right? You get rid of Donald Trump right now. What? So anti-Semitism, racism, sexism, Donald Trump saying normalizing sex trafficking and pedophilia, and all his friends in the Republicans, always Republicans, you know what I'm saying, that's into pedophilia. You got your Matt Gaetz, you got your forgot her name with Epstein, the biggest groomer in the world, where he said, "Oh, it's okay, I wish her well," and people say, "How you wish a groomer well?" And he just doubled down and said, "Oh, I wish her well," right? Say he wants to fuck his daughter and also grab women by the pussy and all that other stuff. You know, you got your Matt Gaetz, your Rory Moores, your Brett Kavanaugh's, people that rape women, teenagers, all that stuff, all the right wing, all that shit. Right? Even if you get rid of Donald Trump, right? And all those people on the right that engage in pedophilia and all that other stuff, it's still a problem. Well, especially when we talk about politics, it's still a problem there. So these people are just a symptom to a disease that we're not rectifying. That's all that it is. So you get rid of Kanye West, right? How does that make everything better? That doesn't get rid of anti-Semitism. Like Dave Chappelle said in his monologue, he was like, "You cannot blame the black people for the Holocaust." Matter of fact, there were a extreme minority. There were black Jews in Germany, and they got killed too. Right? But we're going to get into that very soon. I'm going to try to speed it up along. But this got me upset. Like, I understand where he's coming from, but it still pissed me off.
With your black person hating Candace Owens' best friend and your Jewish person hating Nick Fuentes' best friend.
That made sense.
All black.
Nah, really, I'm not being condescending. That made sense. Candace Owens, she's a Negro bedwench, and all she does is hate on black people. That's what she gets paid for.
People on the planet, please, to support us, the Jewish people, like we've always supported you. We've been together so many times, standing for each other during times of hardship and during times of oppression. Please be there with us. Everyone needs to condemn this monster, and any show that ever again allows Kanye West on their air ever again from this day forward, you are an anti-Semitic, racist, bigoted network, a show, and you should never have him on your air. You will never be respected again if you do.
So when Kanye West, well, he really didn't get that much play after the White Lives Matter T-shirt, but when he did slavery was a choice stuff, and with that weak sauce apology, he was everywhere. No one had no trouble. When he did the White Lives Matter T-shirt, he was already a right-wing nut job or whatever. He did anything, and I don't want him to do this. He did everything what a regular extreme right wing would do is cause physical violence, get a gun, get his AK-47 and say it's my right to have a gun, I can do whatever I want, and commit political terrorism, what the right wing is famous for doing, right? He did everything but that. But anyway, continue.
End of story.
Okay. Now, what's really important is that you guys understand that Ben does not stand alone on this. Okay. I was born Muslim, and I agree 100% with what Ben said. And we need to support all of our brothers and sisters when they're attacked. So when black people are attacked, we rally, we support.
And that is true. Not with the same energy, not with this goddamn energy.
Support them. Okay. Latinos, women, LGBTQ, you name it. And
the energy that we're seeing right here, that TYT does when it comes to Jews and LGBTQ, they give the same energy. When it comes to black people, it will be just as disgusting, but not at this level. They'll be outraged. Don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to minimize their outrage. I'm not trying to, spit in their face with their solidarity with black people and injustice towards black people, but nothing to this level. Nothing.
In this case, they're attacking Jews, and we all got to rally, we got to circle the wagons, and we got to make sure that we follow exactly the policy that Ben is outlining here. And so,
no.
And I want to say,
no, you first. You first.
One more thing. When Muslims were attacking this country, when Donald Trump wanted to do the Muslim ban, and he talked about it on the campaign trail, the number one group.
Yep. Again, Muslim ban. Simp police is still owing my goddamn money. Where's my $2,500? Like he's ducking. He's. I don't even see him on these YouTube streets. I want my money.
Group that helped Muslim Americans was the Anti-Defamation League. Okay, they jumped in and they were strong advocates for us. And during the Civil Rights era, number one advocates for Black Americans were Jewish Americans. They were in almost all the rallies. Dr. King constantly praised them. So understand history, understand the.
And what he's saying is absolutely right. So you even had I forgot their names, but this is where they were going to a civil rights rally. It was two black guys and one white guy, and one of the white guy was Jewish. He was from New York. Right? And he went down there to help the civil rights movement. Bernie Sanders also was a part of the civil rights movement. Notice how you don't have any right wingers that were a part of the civil rights movement. But according to Republicans, the Democrats are more racist than the Republicans. But you got everyone on the Democratic side. You got a lot of Democrats, a lot of people that were a part of the civil rights movement that was against busing and all these other things. Not saying there's no racists on the Democratic side. You got moderate Democrats like freaking Joe Biden. Whatever is politically expedient for them or whatever, they'll play ball on the other side, like Joe Biden working with segregationists and racists and things like that, right? But you don't see any Republicans that were pretty much, I was for the civil rights. I thought Jim Crow was wrong. You don't have any of them there on the right. Most of them are all on the left. Just saying. So what he's saying is right. But again, we see, and now that we know, for those of you that don't know the relationship between blacks and Jews from when we came to these shores to current. And again, it depends on who, you're familiar with, what your experience is. Like I said, my experience with Jewish people, personally, I mean, they made me who I am, and I'm grateful and I'm thankful for it. Now, are all those relationships like that? No. I know some relationships of some Jewish people that don't go well. I had some relationship with some Jewish people. It's not that much that I have run-ins with, that I have problems with, but that doesn't mean that all of them are like that. It's stupid. They're people. Not all people are great. Not all people are evil or good. You know what I'm saying? They're people. There's different dynamics. So I really wanted to get that out, because that, when he said that, like I had mixed feelings and mixed emotions. But one thing I definitely was sure about, I was like, no, you're not gonna tell Black people now that we should ostracize Kanye West. I think what Kanye West needs is love and therapy. And we all know what he's saying is crazy. But we shouldn't ostracize Kanye West because, now he said something about Jewish people and, we need to ostracize him and don't give him the time of day. Nah, fuck you and fuck that. Because when he said that other things about Black people, y'all didn't have that energy. Y'all did what I'm doing right now. Hey, look, what he's saying was wrong. What he's saying is disgusting. This man needs help, period. And y'all went on living your motherfucking life. All the clothing lines, the shoe stores, you were in solidarity with all the other people that Kanye West was with. You didn't want him to get canceled. You wasn't trying to impact his money, his business dealings, or anything like that when he did that with Black people. Now you tell me now it's you? That's extremely selfish. Extremely selfish, extremely disingenuous. And how dare you guys use Martin Luther King and those few good Jewish people that died at the side of Black people. I feel if they were alive, and some Jewish people are alive right now and hear what I had to say, they would say, you know what, brother, you're right. You're right. If we want to be in solidarity with Black people as a whole, we need to be along with the Black people that thought all that was disgusting, and we should have been at the helm at the beginning. That saying what we saying right now, back then when it was Black people that didn't want to mess with him. But now it's y'all, so it's okay. Now we're gonna do that. No, we're not gonna do that. Like what did Dr. Clark said? Dr. Clark also said, when he was talking about, he had a lecture about what happened on the Holocaust and how horrific it was and things like that. And I think, again, Black people, we gotta be we gotta have compassion for everybody. And Dr. Clark says something like, hey, what happened to the Jewish people over time and during the Holocaust was completely horrific and just devastating, horrible. But at this moment and point right now, my people are going through so much hardship for this day. At least your Holocaust is over. My Holocaust is still happening. And I shed so many tears that I don't have enough tears to shed for anybody else. And with that, that's where I ended with this segment when it comes to Kanye West. All right? That's words from, I'm paraphrasing, obviously, from the great grandmaster teacher, Dr. John Henry Clark. All right? So we're going to get into our other segment. But, I had something. Hold on. I know I'm a little bit strapped for time, but the last thing on the Kanye West thing right now. And then we're going to go on to the Anton, Dainels, Jesse Lee, Paterson. We're going to go into more Republicans. But back on, I had to break a couple things now because I was trying to see that whole video that of when Kanye West was on Alex Jones, and and like Nick Fuentes, right? So we had Koonservatives that was defending Nick Fuentes' comments. And like I said before, if anyone that follows me, Black Republicans are people that have no racial pride, have no racial dignity. Now, they all have their reasons for it, right? So before I get into that, I'm going to play this. I almost forgot to play this so you all could see where I'm coming from when I talk about the things that I talk about. Hold on a second. So we all to me, you talk to a bunch of coons, they all got their reasons for being coons. There's many paths to coonism, for lack of a better word. There's many paths to be a coon of how they arrived at that location, right? But I think this best qualifies the reason of what a coon is.
When you get to my level of education, you become a coon or a Negro. And what's the difference between a coon and a Negro, Envy? The Negro is innocent in his ignorance. The Negro think Jesus is white. The Negro think white people are smarter. It's not his fault. He's been miseducated, Charlemagne. But the coon is dangerous. The coon knows Jesus wasn't white. The coon knows white people are not superior to blacks, but they will act like they are because they're going to get something for doing so. The coon consciously sells out his people. The Negro does it out of ignorance. I can work with a Negro. Never trust the coon.
Boom. Boom. Now, I agree with everything that Umar Johnson says, except for, I mean, he knows better. I know Umar Johnson. A lot of people took pictures of Umar Johnson. I took pictures of Umar Johnson, spoke to him many times. But the only thing I push back on what Umar Johnson says is that knowing that Jesus is white. Okay. Biblically speaking, Jesus is not white. But historically speaking, Jesus don't exist. So anyway, so with that said, right? So moving forward, when it comes to the whole thing with the InfoWars and when Kanye West is on there, I found this very interesting. So like I was saying, you have Republican goons that would defend what Nick Fuentes would say. You know, he's an anti-Semitic, he's racist, all this other stuff. And of course, you have a lot of coons that would agree with what he's saying or try to defend what he's saying, because again, it's all about these coons, from what my experience is, you got these coons that will say things like that are self-hating, self-deprivation. You know, they think that all black people are just inherently backwards, right? So when a white person says that, when the heroes of society say things like that, then they're gonna be like, hey, you know what? That's true. Black people are like that because my friends are like that, right? I see people in my community like that. My family's like that. So where did they tell a lie? Where did they tell a lie? Right? Because they're so much living in their own box, in their own reality. They think that their reality is the standard for all black people. Right. And that's what I'm finding with a lot of Republicans when I go on there. So Pancoonism strikes back. You go on Dainels' channel and stuff like, you know, and the people there, including himself, I come to determination that's what they feel what black people are. And they try to hide under the banner of Pan-Africanism so people won't question their loyalty or their love for black people. When you get them talking, they have no love for black people. They have no confidence or pride in black people, because the moment someone white will say something negative to black people, right, you're only talking about the lowest level of the black population. But they don't do that. They generalize. But anyway, when I was going through the Twitter stuff, right, to get the video, I'm like, yo, this is crazy. Like, the thing for those of you who didn't see it, so let's see what they're saying.
I get the Hugo Boss uniforms, amazing, but I mean, just because you're in love with the design, you're a designer. Can we just kind of say, like, you like the uniforms, but that's about it?
No, there's a lot of things that I love about Hitler. A lot of things.
What the hell? There's a lot of things. He's putting so much emphasis on that. Either he's attention. I don't know if he's either attention whoring, but I don't know, y'all. Let's see. It's something different. There was a clip I'm trying to look for.
A lot of redeeming qualities.
What?
Now, I'm a Nazi, Ari Emanuel. The Zionists cannot tell me who I can love and not love. People have had issues with Jewish people forever. I love Hitler. Played out. Nobody knows who the ADL are. Stop giving them attention. Nobody cares about the ADL. ADL, shut up.
Well, they wrong. I don't like Nazis, and I don't like what some of the mafias are doing either.
I like Hitler.
You're not a Nazi.
At the end of the goddamn show, he went to break. I like Hitler. Like, what the fuck is wrong with you?
You don't deserve to be called that and demonized.
Well, I see good things about Hitler also.
You love Jim Jones. You love Jeffrey Dahmer.
Absolutely. Do you know who I am now, Netanyahu? What we did is we brought Netanyahu with us. It was bad. It was bad for Trump to meet with.
And the Nazis, in my view, were thugs that shut people down and did a lot of really bad things.
But they did good things too. We got to stop dissing the Nazis all the time. I like Hitler.
I don't like Hitler. To him on NPR, him on NPR, and him on 60 Minutes saying
it's like he had a really cool outfit and stuff, and he was a really good architect, and he didn't kill 6 million Jews. That's just like factually incorrect. Yeah, but Nazis are like kind of cool. I'm actually tired of hearing about the Jews. Like, but I also,
again, that's crazy. That's not the. There was another clip. Then you got this coon guy right here trying to clarify what Kanye West is saying. That was like, well, he said he loves everybody. I think that's the Donald Trump. That's the Donald Trump Republican tactic. Instead of saying, "Hey, look, I disavow. I really don't agree with anything that what was being said in my presence or what I said. I really don't. Just apologetic. No, they double down. Just like when Donald Trump say, "Oh, he wished the biggest groomer in United States history." Well, he said, "Well, I'm sorry. I just meant her well-being. Hey, we're all humans, but I can see how that sounds." No, I wish her well. Why not? And he's doing the same thing.
Hitler is horrible. Hitler is horrible. Mao is horrible.
No. I love all of those.
You love Mao Zedong?
Absolutely. Mao brought.
Well, clarify that. You're saying you're like Christ-like. You love everybody. Yeah. No matter. You love Jim Jones. You love Jeffrey Dahmer.
Absolutely.
Stalin is horrible. Hitler.
Part of me think he's sick, but also attention whoring. I think it was this one right here, yo.
Cancel my account, then I can say I do love Hitler. I do love the Zionists. I love everyone. The Zionists cannot tell me who I can love and not love.
How you love the Zionists and you love Hitler, and then right after that say the Zionists can't tell you. You just wow.
I don't think like that. I think more like someone that's on the spectrum. Since that's what they want to claim, well, let me be on the spectrum of love, because love.
But that's a good T-shirt. I love Hitler.
That's a bar. So if I say
that ain't it. I'm not sure this is it.
The Zionist. I'm more like someone that's on the.
That's not the one. There's one particular one I'm trying to get. This was funny though.
Man, stop this time, pal. I ain't with you. You gotta tell me to sound like this, Eddie. You know you're wrong. Keep on walking. You wrong. You wrong.
This is the same thing.
I see good things about Hitler also. The things that I love.
You Russia see.
Kiss the Jew.
All right, I'm trying to find it. I think I lost it.
That's what they want to claim. Well, let me be.
I think I lost it, but there was something. It was a really interesting clip that I saw.
How could you say something? It's okay. I'd say there's a.
Oh man!
I think this is it. Like, you saw that? You saw it? Like, what is he doing?
Well, I don't disagree with that. I'm just saying, I don't like Nazis, and I don't like what some of the mafias are doing either. You like the uniforms, but that's about it.
No, no. I'd say there's a lot of things that I love about Hitler. A lot of things. Hey, Netten, what did you think about that, Netten? This is insane. You are an insane person.
did you say something? It's okay then. Let me ask you, you like the Azog Battalion?
What the hell was that? What the hell was... This is sad. And like I and Alex Jones just has him there, knowing that he's off the rails. This man he needs a padded room. This is a grown man. Like, what is that? A fly swatter, or is his imaginary best friend? Like,
Hitler, they're the leftovers of World War II. They support Zelensky and attacking Russia. So you like the Azog Battalion? I love everyone. Well, my point is, every human being has something of value that they brought to the table, especially Hitler. How about that one? They want to separate and confuse the Christians and make us afraid to stand next to each other. A Christian can stand next to anyone. We can go visit R. Kelly in prison. We can go talk to Harvey Weinstein. That's what Jesus did. Yes, because Jesus...
No one is trying to persecute Christians. That's another right-wing talking point. The biggest religion in the world is Christianity, then Islam. How are Christians being persecuted? This is so dumb. But again, it's right-wing talking points.
I see good things about Hitler also. I love everyone, and Jewish people are not going to tell me you can.
That's crazy. American History X. All right, I can't find it, guys. I'm going to move on. I think I wasted enough time on this. I think this is it with this piece of shit right here. Hold up.
I am also.
In terms of Ukraine and Russia, I haven't really seen so much of that in the news. I'm, of course, pro-Putin. I'm very pro-Russia.
I am.
Of course, because Donald Trump is pro-Putin and pro-Russia. So, of course, you got a lot of right-wingers right now. They're, saying communism isn't that bad. Like, you guys could Google that where you had Republicans saying, you know what, communism is not really that bad. We prefer that. These people are cultists. The Republican Party, I said before, I miss the old Republican Party. Please bring back George Bush. I'll take George Bush any day over what's going on right now.
I am also.
Let's go. Yeah. You see that this is just an extension of the United States neocon establishment, New World Order type stuff. That's what they want.
So we all know the Republicans now are anti-government. They're anti-government, so they're anarchists, right? They're insurrectionists. They hate their own government. If you hate your own government that much, why don't you leave? That's what you used to tell on Democrats and BLM and black immigrants and Mexicans, right? Go back to Europe.
The future president you're talking to right now.
Is Nick your running mate?
He's not old enough. What does Putin say about America's value system?
So he said in a speech when he annexed those two breakaway provinces and he annexed the Donbass, he said in a speech that we have totally abandoned traditional values, traditional faith, and that we've actually embraced full-on Satanism.
So again, if you guys haven't seen my other video, I did a dictionary definition of what conservatism is, what liberalism is, and so on and so forth. So when we talk about conservatism, we're talking about conservatism in America. So conservative means the original ways, the old ways, traditions, so on and so forth. So who traditions are we talking about when we're in America? What are the traditional ways that we have in America? The traditional ways is before any amendment was ever established, right? So culture. So we're talking about white Anglo-Saxon culture. So we're not talking about women's lib. We're not talking about Reconstruction. We're not talking about Dred Scott decision. No. We don't want that. No, we want y'all niggas having none of that. We're not talking about 13th Amendment. We're not talking about any of that stuff. They want conservatism, right? They want to be traditionally conservative. So when you hear a person says traditionally conservative, they're talking about the white ideology. That's why they like talking about the founding fathers. Even though the founding fathers weren't Christian, but you're allowed to have any religion that you want. That's fine. but they're talking about white male privilege. Period. Nothing else. They don't care about those amendments. That has to do, that give other white men rights. So this is what he means.
And he's totally right. And
it's true. America's embracing Satanism. Say, like, you like the uniforms, but that's about it.
There's a lot of things that I love about Hitler. A lot of things. Hey, like
I'm tired of hearing I'm a Nazi. I'm really serious. I'm not. But I think by them falsely accusing people, some people are going to become Nazis.
I am. Now what? I am. Now.
He got his hand up like he's in the third grade. Teacher. I am. Do I get a sticker? Like, yo, like, this is sad, man. This is crazy.
What? Now I'm a Nazi, Ari Emanuel. Isn't that?
Okay, that's wow. This enough of this particular minstrel show right now. Like, damn, y'all. Like, look, is there any coming back from this? I think Kanye can bounce back from this if he just already admits what he already admitted, saying, "Hey, yo, man, yeah, man, I'm kind of I was off my meds, and people will say, you know what? Okay, I mean." Even Dave Chappelle said it. Dave Chappelle was like, I saw an anchor, and the anchor was like, there's no reason to say such anti-Semitic things. Yes, there is, bitch. Yes, there is. Like, people that are mentally insane kill people. So, you know what I'm saying? It doesn't justify it, but we know the reason for your dysfunction. You know what I'm saying? So, right here, let me what I got right here. I think I like this. I like what Witches Gather here. It says black men are sad for even trying to stand behind or defend this dude in his insanity. Exactly. I totally agree with you, because you being black doesn't qualify enough by people standing behind you. It's what you say and your works. If a white person says the right thing, right, I'll stand behind you. You know what I'm saying? We have to get past this point where color, your hue or lack of hue qualifies you to be within the group or not within the group. It's what you're saying. Are you speaking truth to the matter? Right? So exactly. Thank you for that, Witches Gather here. Thank you for that. That's absolutely true. Right? And we have another one. I'm gonna go to my board right here. Right here on what is the focus of this live, please. I'm from Brazil. Hello. If you're looking into, or if you know anything about American politics, please just look at the beginning of the video. I really don't want to go all over again. I mean, thank you for being interesting. And again, it says you're saying you guys understand what he says about Hitler. Yeah, we do understand. That's what this live is basically about. Pretty much talking about Kanye West's mental state. And again, to get more context to the video, this is part 2. You could go look at part 1 to see what was going on, but you could continue watching or watch at a later date. Thank you. Remember, guys, please remember to like. The like is, just free to like, and share and subscribe if you're not subscribed yet. Yeah, me too. I mean, that's cool. Thank you for that. I love politics. I love politics too. So yeah, just look at, like I said, just look at the beginning of the video. But like I said, remember, guys, please to like, share, subscribe. If you haven't liked, shared, and subscribed as of yet, can you please do that for me? I would really appreciate it if you do that. Support the channel, at least in that way. I'm not asking for cash out. So, or anything like that, just support the channel, leave comments. All right. So, yeah, I just want to give you that. So we know about the people. I showed you that so you can see the type of people that Kanye West is hanging out with. These people are just going to contribute to his de-evolution of him as a black man. I mean, I don't know how, I mean, shit could always get worse. But these are the people who he's hanging around with. Anyone, again, he's just a useful idiot that they're just using for their own political games. He's just a pawn. He's just ends to a means, to pretty much spew their right wing hate. So so that's why he's coming on InfoWars, and he's probably going to be a guest on OAN and Truth Social, which is Trump's version of Twitter. He's going to be all these extremist, right-wing, leftist, racist publications, right? This is what he's going to be on. So these are people who have it. And for like a caveat, so I heard also that he became so toxic, right? So nuclear toxic or whatever. His girl, Candace Owens, denounced him, right? Like, why? Because he was buying Parler. Now, who owns Parler, right? Candace Owens' husband. See, so this article was in 2021. So when they were wearing that White Lives Matter bullshit T-shirt, again, they're saying like, Kanye, you want to do what? You want to do this? I don't know. It could be either one of their idea. And that's why she kept hanging with Kanye West, propping him up. Because what did she do? She was like, oh, I got this dumbass nigga to buy Parler. So, which is a failing social site, right? But she got Kanye West to put all that money to buy Parler. So again, I'm saying this to show you that a lot of people they're just using Kanye West. They're just using him, and he doesn't see that, right? So that was the Independent. No, that was the Yahoo, right? And that was from the Independent, right? And you got this right here. Did Kanye West just get played for Parler? Candace Owens' husband, George Farmer, is CEO. Candace Owens' husband is the CEO of Parler. They just ran this stupid nigga's pocket. Like, I'm laughing not because I'm happy. I'm laughing because it's funny and sad at the same time, right? So she's a hate monger, right? You know what I'm saying? She's a Negro bedwench, proud of it. You know what I'm saying? Republicans see that as a redeeming quality, right? But if you hate your black ass self, you know what I'm saying? Anything white as an accessory is a plus, right? So we see things differently, right? So of course she's defending him, which she normally does anyway, and stuff like that, yada yada yada. So that's no big deal there. But the fact that she had to get out of that deal shows you that she's like, nigga, you even going too far for me. Peace. You know what I'm saying? So that's where we at right now on with that. So I wanted to show you guys that. So that's the end of the Kanye West segment. I know I'm going into 2 hours here. I would like to bang this out. But just the last segment I got over here. So now we have come to Anton Dainels and Jesse Lee Peterson. Sweetwater Jesse Lee Peterson, right? So we got the dynamic Kuno, aka dynamic Coon duo, right? And so before I play this, I'll before I play the clip, is basically they were on Dr. Phil, and the topic was about population control, yada 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 yada. And what do coon goons, Republican lapdog house Negroes do best is repeat their master's racist ideologies and racist wet dreams of what black people are, and how black people should just cancel themselves. So we're gonna before I get into this and show you the clip, we're gonna let Dr. Umar set the tone.
When you get to my level of education, you become a coon or a Negro. And what's the difference between a coon and a Negro, Envy? The Negro is innocent in his ignorance. The Negro think Jesus is white. The Negro think white people are smarter. It's not his fault. He's been miseducated, Charlemagne. But the coon is dangerous. The coon knows Jesus wasn't white. The coon knows white people are not superior to blacks, but they will act like they are because they're going to get something for doing so. The coon consciously sells out his people. The Negro does it out of ignorance. I can work with a Negro. Never trust the coon.
Exactly. The good doc. Right? So I think we could work with Kanye West because Kanye West is going through pain. Kanye West is not mentally well. So as all of us, we're defaulted into Negroes. We're Negroes by default because we're grown up here in the West, and that's something that's typical, and we're not gonna be surprised by that. So we could work with Kanye West. These two coons that I'm about to show you right here, you cannot work with them. You cannot work with them. Like Jesse Lee Peterson ass is too old. He knows what he's talking about, even though I think he's a little bit slow. He's a little bit mentally challenged, so I could be wrong there. Anton Dainels, I'm pretty sure he knows what he's doing and he's cognizant of doing. You cannot work with these people. These two people are the enemy of black people. They are the enemy of black society as we know it. Right? As we know it. Right? So this is the clip right here. And it's just going to be, it's not a long video, right? But I'm playing this from the beginning so you guys could get the tone of what the conversation is. And obviously people have different perspectives, but you can see they go into the shucking and the jiving and the Samboism immediately. And it's like, whoa. Which means they have an agenda. They have a black self-hatred agenda.
Freedom and the reproductive choice is one of those freedoms. And I think the better approach is to try to educate people so that they're responsible when they have children and they can care for them. But I think having the government getting involved in anything like this. I mean, China's done that. It's a disaster over there.
I completely agree with you about reproductive freedom. I think that's the most important thing we need today. Hundreds of millions of couples are denied their right to not procreate. But you were mentioning go ahead.
How are they denied that right?
They do not have the contraceptive services, reproductive health services that they need. Those are not provided. And maybe people should supply their own, but they can't afford it because they're having more offspring. And maybe people should supply their own, but they can't afford it because those are not.
You see what it says last night? It says humans should naturally become extinct. Okay.
Provided. And maybe people should supply their own, but they can't afford it because they're having more offspring that they can't feed.
Where's that?
I love just about everywhere. Try to get a sterilization here in America when you haven't had kids and you're only 22.
That's true.
We're not allowing people to not
see people like that all the time, and you can put an IUD in. A copper IUD is effective for 10 years. It's inert.
Have you ever worked in a grocery store and seen a lady with a bonnet on her head with 8 kids walking behind her? You think that she's being responsible? You think that she's really taking into consideration what she's supposed to do responsibly? You think that she's not on Section 8 housing?
Did you hear what this coon ass nigga said on a public forum on a show? He ordered these men white men are talking in general terms when it comes to people, as you heard. He automatically went to, and those people, remember the niggas. You know what I'm saying? Remember the bonnet on, Section 8 housing, all these are tropes. All these are stereotypical racist black tropes. And I'm not really talking to the Republican goons, because to them, they think all black people are like that. So they would speak in general terms like their fellow coon right here, right? You hear what he's saying. Look at the white, look at the white dude's face over here. Like, I don't know if he's saying like what or that's kind of trash. Like, I don't know. He's making a face, but this is what this nigga is saying. You listen to what he is saying. It says, Anton says, oh my gosh, underprivileged people should not have children. He just says black people shouldn't have children, because everything he said doesn't have to do with American society or the global society as a whole. He specifically is talking about black Americans only. And then some Republicans wonder why black people don't want to be Republicans. Because this is what you have to do in order to be Republican. You have to talk about all day about how backwards and depraved black people are in general, not segments, not pieces, not parts. No, we all like that. And this is what he's saying. This guy's a piece of shit, but he's a Republican. So this when the coon, this is what Dr. Umar is talking about. Cannot work with niggas like this.
You don't think that we paying for her to house her kids, who's probably going to grow up and steal my wheels off my car?
Yeah,
I mean,
you see the expression in the audience?
Reality. I'm not here. I'm not here to tell people my car.
Yeah,
I mean, it's a reality. I'm not here. I'm not here to tell people. What.
You see the people, like, she's like shocked. He's laughing. He's like, what? Like, when the other gentleman was speaking, you didn't see that reaction, right? Again, he's doubling down on the black racial tropes of black people. He's talking about the lowest class of black people, which again is not the majority of black people. White people do not come on here on forums like this, right, and say that Petty Sue in the trailer park and Billy Bo Job that drinks Budweiser all day is just white society in general, and we need to do something about that. No, because they all know, they understand those are just like Dave Chappelle. Those are the poor whites, right? Those are the poor whites. That's a segment in society that does not represent all of white society. But this nigga over here is gonna say that the low lives of black society is the majority of black society. This is supposed to be a man. Again, this is the coon. You cannot work with the coon. He's either doing it because he actually believes that, because his life is filled with degenerate black people that, I don't know, by his circumstances or through past trauma or how he grew up, that's all he saw. So he think that's my truth, so that truth must be all other black people's truth. Or he's just doing this for monetary gain. I don't know, but a lie is a lie.
They want to hear. I'm here to tell the truth.
How do we get to the wheels on you?
Because the people that are having kids are some of the worst in society, and when you put them in an environment and they have to be raised without the resources in order for them to be able to thrive, often at times they become the ones that we have to take care of.
Again, he's talking about black people only. So by what he just said, right, he's saying white people don't have that problem, Hispanics don't have that problem, Asians don't have that problem. All these so-called racial groups, they're self-sustaining, self-sufficient. They don't need help. They don't need hands out. They don't need government assistance. They don't need a leg up. They all have bootstraps that they can pull themselves up by, and they're working just fine. It's just the niggas you gotta be concerned about. It's the niggas that's putting all this burden on the taxpayers and everything. And if the tax and hey, look, if we want to get some sort of tax relief in this regard, we niggas don't need to have kids no more. Oh, but you think it gets bad? You think that's bad? Oh no, it's gonna get worse. It's gonna get worse.
Whether it be the prisons that we build for them or the social services that we have to create for them, and they do not become more educated and do things differently. They breed more. That's what happens.
They breed more. He sound like you talking about two dogs. Yo, I got this pit and this Rottweiler. Let's breed them together with it. Again, talking about prisons, the house them in. All these are he sounds like a conservative. He just sounds like your good old typical conservative. You know what? I'll take that back. He sounds like every politician in the late 80s and 90s. That's what he sounds like. You could say Joe Biden. I don't give a fuck. You say he sound like Joe Biden? Fine. Yeah, I agree. He sounds like Joe Biden. He sounds like the right wing. He sounds like all those segregationists. He sounds like David Duke, you know what I'm saying, which is a right winger, which would be a part of the Ku Klux Klan and everything. He sounds like all of them. All of them. Right? If they didn't try to kill black people through putting drugs in our neighborhood, you know what I'm saying, which is a part of Reaganomics, putting drugs in our neighborhood to get rid of us with drug use, it has to do with I'm gonna let this mental show continue.
I disagree with all this crap that I hear. I grew up with 6 brothers and 7 sisters at a time when I grew up on a plantation in Alabama. And we grew up in a little hut house, bathroom outside. And my family.
Before I play this, right, I'm gonna play a little. See where his coon mind is right now. So hold on real quick, just to give you guys the type of people, pieces of shit that we're talking about right now, that we call so-called black people, right? These are just nothing but lap dogs, the plantation lap dogs. This is all that it is. This was plantation lap dogs. So for those of you who don't know, I'm going to show you what type of person is talking right now. All right? So you probably all might be familiar with this clip right now.
The blacks who were here would have been stuck in.
Oh, sorry for that, y'all. Man, try to get it done real quick. Sorry for that. Hold on one second. There we go.
No, I've often said that thank God for slavery because, had not, then the blacks who were here would have been stuck in Africa. And you see how bad Africa, everybody and mama trying to get out of Africa and come to America.
Everybody mama trying to get out of Africa, come to America. That's not true. Most black people are in Africa. And most black people that are in Africa, for what I know, aren't struggling and fighting to come to America or the UK. So, no.
And so God has a way of looking out for folks, and he made it possible by way of slavery to get black folks into this country. But 100% American. Proud of it. I thank God that he saw fit for me to get here. Never mind that, we were sold. I mean, I guess my ancestor waved.
He said, never mind that we were sold. Again, more white apologetic rhetoric, white sympathy. He's expressing white fragility. And as a Negro, he's excusing white people's the worst crime against humanity to this day.
Bad way young will win. We're sold by Arabs and blacks to white folks. And got us here. White man came and brought us to the greatest country in the world. The ride over was pretty tough, but it's like riding on a crowded airplane. And when you're not in first class, it's a tough ride. But
y'all hear this shit, right? Okay.
You're happy when you get to your destination.
You're happy when you get to your destination. It's not riding like first class, but you're happy when you get to your destination. Okay.
And so the ride was tough over here. The pain for freedom was tough, because in life, if you want
what freedom
to gain something, you got to lose something. No pain, no gain. So it was a tough. The pain was tough, all for the sake of freedom. So I thank God that He got me here, and to show my appreciation to the blacks who suffer as a result of coming here, and the Arabs and blacks who sold us to the white man for going there and getting us and bringing us here. I want to say thanks.
Yes. So that happened, and this is the type of people who we're dealing with right now when they're talking. These are the people who that we're dealing with right now. All right? So, without further ado, let's continue the minstrel show.
Raised an amazing family, children. But what the difference was then and it is now is that before you had babies, you got married. So you have the father and the mother in the home. And while the father was out earning a living, the mother was watching over his children. And so you were able to raise these children. We didn't have government in our lives at the time. And so we were able to do that. And in America, we were not allowing all these illegal aliens and refugees to come into our country. So our government were not taking care of folks from other parts of the world.
The United States government has always facilitated in the immigration process, right? From even before the civil rights era, where they pretty much revamped every government system as far as immigration is concerned. They had Irish coming in, they had Italians coming in, they had all sorts of white people coming in. So, well, he doesn't have a problem with that, and I'm pretty sure he's not talking against that. We just heard his sentiment when it comes to being in America.
World and the families in America, we took care of ourselves.
I think you've pretty much.
You see her face, the crowd was making me laugh because it's like, is he really saying what he's saying? It's like, are you for real?
Pissed off everybody.
Exactly.
You said there's not anything you've heard that you don't think is crap. So what do you think? You said what you don't think. What do you think?
I know that we need to restore the family. We need a smaller government because government don't make anything work. They screw you up. We need a
smaller government. Oh, geez. Hold on a second, guys. Hold on one moment. I gotta answer this call real quick. Hold on. Hold on, y'all. Let me take care of something real quick. I'm going to have a little intermission. Again, I'm sorry for that. I'm married with 5 children. It's always an emergency. I'm going to be back probably like within about 2 minutes or so. So please just bear with me.
When you get to my level of education, you become a coon or a Negro. And what's the difference between a coon and a Negro, Envy? The Negro is innocent in his ignorance. The Negro think Jesus is white. The Negro think white people are smarter. It's not his fault. He's been miseducated, Charlemagne. But the coon is dangerous. The coon knows Jesus wasn't white. The coon knows white people are not superior to blacks, but they will act like they are because they're going to get something for doing so. The coon consciously sells out his people. The Negro does it out of ignorance. I can work with a Negro. Never trust the coon. When you get to my level of education, you become a coon or a Negro. And what's the difference between a coon and a Negro, Envy? The Negro is innocent in his ignorance. The Negro think Jesus is white. The Negro think white people are smarter. It's not his fault. He's been miseducated, Charlemagne. But the coon is dangerous. The coon knows Jesus wasn't white. The coon knows white people are not superior to blacks, but they will act like they are because they're going to get something for doing so. The coon consciously sells out his people. The Negro does it out of ignorance. I can work with a Negro. Never trust the coon. When you get to my level of education, you become a coon or a Negro. And what's the difference between a coon and a Negro, Envy? The Negro is innocent in his ignorance. The Negro think Jesus is white. The Negro think white people are smarter. It's not his fault. He's been miseducated, Charlemagne. But the coon is dangerous. The coon knows Jesus wasn't white. The coon knows white people are not superior to blacks, but they will act like they are because they're going to get something for doing so. The coon consciously sells out his people. The Negro does it out of ignorance. I can work with a Negro. Never trust the coon.
All right, y'all, I'm back. Sorry for that. So I'm gonna keep the clip going with Jesse Lee Peterson. A little background. So he's supposed to be a pastor and a minister, and yeah, he's a gay sexual predator. He's forced himself on young boys. He has sexual relationship with people in his flock, in his church, and politically. So yes, according to him, God doesn't like you. So he's a hypocrite. But you can see how easily he get over that. And peace out to Nappy Yankee. Nappy Yankee. He gave a very good a video on Jesse Lee Peterson, and I learned a lot from that video. So so that's with the video I showed you, plus what he's saying right now. The mission show is not over yet, So let's get back to it, unfortunately, to see what he says, and he's gonna trump what Anton Daniel says, which is, yeah, you think that's crazy, but nah, it's not.
To stop taking care of women who are having these babies out of wedlock. We need to stop taking care of these women who are coming from other countries. We need to stop taking care of their babies. We need to take care of American families first by getting them away from the government and restoring order.
You're a pastor, right?
Yes.
And you're a radio host?
Yes.
Okay. And you said you believe white people should have more children?
We definitely need white babies. And I tremble at
You see the guy in the back of him, and he's a Christian. And everybody's like, okay. He's grinning like, yeah. He's like bugging out. And he got a cross on him and everything. And like these two are like just like yo, they're not even hiding. They're like just like, I don't know whether to call it, they're appalled. He's all grinning. Anton Daniels, he's all grinning and laughing like, yo, this is just despicable.
You said you believe white people should have more children?
Look at their face.
Definitely need white babies. And I tremble at the idea that
laughing
white babies, that the white group is going down in numbers, because if you lose white folks, America, it's over for America. Because
if you lose white people, then it's over for America. This goes into the whole trope of white people are smarter. We heard what Dr. Umar says. White people are just inherently smarter. Genetically, they're just smarter and everything. And if white people not cease to exist, but we don't have enough, according to him, we don't have enough white people, and the whole country is going to go down the toilet. So you can't have any non-black computer engineers, non-white engineers, non-white IT people, non-white people within government. Everything, there have to be a white face, everything there. And he's speaking, obviously not all, because I know people his age, Americans his age, and they sound the exact opposite of him. So I know people that's his age, if not older, that grew up in the world South, and they could tell you stories, and they don't believe like this. They don't believe the things that he believe in, right? As far as like the superiority, like to white people. But I'm saying to say that he saw it as like, okay, they keeping things going, so we need white people, right? Again, black Republicans they feel inherently that they are inferior in comparison to white people. So they need white people, right? So when a white person says something disgusting or disparaging against black people, they just nod their head like, yeah, sure, boss, you sure is right. Them niggas ain't no good. They ain't fit to do nothing right, sir. You know what I'm saying? So they're in agreement, right? So when someone basically says, hey, proudly says, I'm Republican, these are just proud house niggas that hate themselves and hate other black people. That's all that it is.
notice white people tend to be more innovative. They're more creative. They have ideas about things. All these other races don't do nothing but destroy. They don't build. They destroy.
People are like laughing, like, what? Even look, I don't know if Dr. Phil is in charge of casting these people, but if you go back, Dr. Phil seems a little shocked. Like, whoa. Oh, I don't know how good of an actor he is, if he is acting, but how did these niggas get past to get to this point? There's only two, like, all I see is just only two black people on this stage, right? Only two black people on this stage, and and they got two black people that have the same disgusting, backwards, reprehensible view of black people, and they got the same ideology of pedestalizing white people and white supremacy. Like, I don't see no other. They don't have no other black people, but they just so like. Was this purposely done? If these two supposed to express the views of black people as a whole, you cannot be mad that the government. He said he wants small government, right? So let's not say the government. He's gonna want like black people to be socially ostracized and disfranchised because women, they wear bonnets, they have a whole bunch of kids. Black people as a whole are stupid. We're uninnovative and all these other things. So fine, you need small government. So government will have a small part in pushing their narratives, right? So it's basically the social construct of black people is going to be, we're going to be ostracized from society because who wants someone who's that backwards in general? Like, yo, this is just disgusting.
Yes. Okay. And you said you believe white people should have more children?
We definitely need white babies. And I tremble at the idea that white babies, that the white group is going down in numbers because if you lose white folks, America, it's over for America. Because if you notice, white people tend to be more innovative. They're more creative. They have ideas about things. All these other races don't do nothing but destroy. They don't build. They destroy.
I said you pissed off everybody that was wrong. Now you pissed off everybody.
But it's true, though.
All right, so that was that minstrel show. That actually happened. So this is what happened when conservatives get a stage. This is what they do. They gotta promote their hate for black people, right? And the white people put them on Front Street. I mean, for the white people that don't know any better, think like, well, yeah, okay, you got one of their own saying that they're evil and backwards, to validate my racial feeling towards them anyway. So this is what we're dealing with. This is what we're dealing with, right? And for those conservatives, black conservatives, say, I mean, they're not honest. They're the ones that I know are completely dishonest, right? For the ones that do say, well, hey, that doesn't represent my specific idea. Okay, fine, I hear you, but that was the general consensus of a black conservative. You do not moderate black conservatives. I mean, yeah, conservatives, if there is any. If there is any, I will want to know what do they feel about this, because every proud black conservative I talk to, they mimic these same talking points, verbatim at sometimes, verbatim. And how is this being? And for the ones that claim to be Pan-African, how is this? How any of this is Pan-African? You want this message to go among African people in diaspora that we're backwards and we need more white people within black society? If it's America, it's fine. America is America. That's fine. You're free to have as many kids. Europe can have as many kids as they want. I don't care, right? People are people. But to have a black man so-called black men saying that black people don't need to have kids, and you got another one saying, well, black people and other people don't contribute enough to society, and all the white people are very smart and innovative and things like that. This is conservative values. And I don't even think this is extreme right. This is just right. This is just the right wing, because I don't know any right wingers that disapprove of what they're saying. Matter of fact, when you go to certain channels, they act like it's not even happening. They say nothing about it. They stick their head in the sand like an ostrich and don't know what's going on, or they pretend not to know what's going on. And this is why they're very disingenuous, right? So to the next segment here, we're talking about real quick, as I'm about to bring it to the end. It has been over 2 hours. Thank you all for rocking with me. But I'm about to bring it home to an end real quick. But I want to go over, because what they're basically talking about right now is eugenics, right? Is eugenics. So for those of you that don't know what eugenics is, I'm going to read you the Encyclopedia Britannica rendition of what eugenics is, so we all could be on the same page when we're talking about eugenics. Guys, please remember to like, share, subscribe if you haven't. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe if you have not. So let's go to the Encyclopedia Britannica version of eugenics real quick. So, eugenics summary. Britannica, right? Eugenics, study of human improvement by genetic means. The first expulsion of eugenics was made by Francis Galton, which is actually Charles Darwin's cousin, who inherited in Hereditary Genius in 1869 proposed that the system of arranged marriages between men or distinction of women of wealth would eventually produce a gifted race. The American Eugenics Society, founded in 1926, supported Galton's theories. U.S. eugenicists also supported restriction of immigration from nations with inferior stock, such as Italy, Greece, and countries of Eastern Europe, and argued for the sterilization of insane, retarded, epileptic citizens. Sterilization laws were passed in more than half of the states, and isolated instances of involuntary sterilization continued on to the 1970s. Remember that. To the 1970s. The assumptions of eugenics came under the sharp criticism beginning in the 1930s and were discredited after German Nazis used eugenics to support the extermination of Jews, blacks, and homosexuals. Right? So, you got these Negroes on a neo-Nazi platform. Again, they're Republicans, so of course they're Republican, they're going to repeat Republican, racist, nationalist, Nazi propaganda. Again, these are the lapdogs of the Republican Party, of the KKK Party. This is their job. Hopefully, they figure if this was to happen, they'll have a nice little comfortable spot for them in white society. So that's what that is, right? So this is what they are doing, spreading eugenics, right? So the next thing I want to do is explain one other thing I have here. Now, there's a brother called Omawale. This is a real Pan-Africanist, very intellectual YouTube channel. It's called Omawale Africa. He breaks it down very well. He's the one that inspired me to do this video, because it was hitting on so many points that I agree with. I wanted to give my commentary, so I kind of want to do my own rendition to it. So this is our brother Omawale right here. Check him out. It's a very beautiful channel. I love it. It's nothing but black love, black unity. Talks truth about history. Talks about mating and dating. There's a lot of political commentary in there. He really has a very A-list cast, and it's just very refreshing to see, another Black YouTuber that is just very intellectual, very well read, and knows what's going on. So, peace out to him. Go check his channel out. And real quick, I'm gonna give he drop a gem right here, something that I learned right? So I just want to share it with you all. I'm not going to play the whole thing, just a little snippets of it.
So Malthus refers to this guy named Thomas Malthus. And the year 1798, he wrote an essay called An Essay on the Principle of Population. And you should actually go read the essay. It's a really good essay. But if you want a dope summary on it, you can find it in Britannica, right? So I'll read this little short clip right here that y'all see on the screen. It says, Thomas Malthus, his English economist and demographer, who is best known for his theory that population growth will always tend to outrun the food supply, and that the betterment of humankind is impossible without stern limits on reproduction. This thinking is commonly referred to as Malthusianism, right? So that's what he's the precursor or the forerunner to the eugenics movement. And you'll see that when the eugenics movement is in full swing in the United States during the 20th century, Thomas Malthus pops back up, right? This is an English economist and demographer who wrote this essay in 1798, right? This is them understanding. So it gets really interesting because I think I have an opportunity to tie in, principles around racism, white supremacy. But when I talk about it, I'm going to be talking about it through the lens of the global system of theft, right? Because what Europeans did was essentially they went around the world and stole people's shit. They stole people's land, so people essentially could not survive. And after they stole their land, they're like, well, listen, you got to figure out how to feed yourself. I got your land now, but if you can't feed yourself, okay, you can work for me. But if you're not useful to me, then, go find a hole and die. That was essentially their policy, right? So, I'm not going to go deep on that right now because I'm going to be lecturing a lot in 2023. Congressman / senator, whatever it was, passed a bill to perfect eugenics legislation. So, I'm sorry, it wasn't in 1907. In 1907, let me make myself larger on the screen real quick so I can teach. So in 1907,
check out Malthusian, check that out. Check this out also. But what really was heart-wrenching to me, and this is answering what Jesse Lee Peterson was saying and all this other stuff and yada yada yada. We need small government, right? I'm going to share this.
Some of us want to forget this period so bad. What was done to us. Some of us want to forget the labor camps, right? The labor camps that our children were forced to endure during the Jim Crow period because their moms couldn't afford child care because she had to work in the field all day to make a dollar. Let me play this clip real quick. I'm going to play this clip. The stream is going on about 2 hours.
The thing about it, that's why I can't understand certain Black people, man, especially freaking FBA. I mean, I know we're not talking about FBA right now, but to see, as a so-called immigrant, right, all I see is my people. These are Black Americans. Right here, she looks like my sister in the face a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Those little pretty eyes and everything like that. Looks like my sister a little bit. All I see is my people. So this story he's about to tell me really gets me upset. It really, really gets me upset.
his family. I'm gonna tell you this, because there's so many of y'all here. I know some folks may want to jump up and say something. So I'm gonna cut the stream off tonight at 10:15 on the dot. If there's anything you want to share, I'll drop the link so that you can come up. But again, you can ask a question, you can share a perspective. Keep it short. My voice is done, and I want to be off the stream by 10:15. So, just in fairness, I do want to just drop this for y'all. So, link to join. All right, but at 10:15, I'm out of here. So no long talking. Don't nobody come up and try to preach. All right, so let me play this clip. Let me make sure the audio is still good. Hold on. Settings, audio, echo cancellation. I'll tell you what, let me remove this. No, I think it's good. All right, listen, I'm gonna play this clip. Y'all put a 1 in the chat if y'all can hear it. We'll do it.
Subscribe.
Here we go.
Subscribe to my channel. Subscribe to Omawale's channel. Subscribe, y'all, and you will love the content on there.
What happened to your foot, Jerome?
Juvenile had to got a wash out.
So you drove a nail in out by the wash house. What did your mother do for that?
Was alcohol.
Where do you sleep, Jerome?
This is a young black child, Jerome. This is in the 1950s at a labor camp outside of a sharecropper situation. And he's talking about he drove a nail through his foot. Preston, you said hard to watch. I mean, you can't see it. What does that mean? Can everybody see? Can everybody see what I have on the screen? Can y'all see in here?
I think he meant it's hard to watch to see, your own people in that situation. I think that's what he meant. It's hard to watch, but I think Omawale he misunderstood, because this is hard to watch. It's very hard to watch.
Here, clearly, put one in the chat. If y'all can see it here clearly. I'll try to make it larger. All right, cool. I just made it on the full screen. So here we go.
You have this big bed?
Yes.
What happened? How did you get that hole in that bed there, Jerome?
Rest.
The what?
Rest.
Now, Jerome, you are taking care of Kathy, of Beulah, and Lois.
Yes.
Now, are you going to give them lunch today?
Yes.
What are you going to feed them?
It's a baby taking care of other babies.
Do you have any food here to give them?
Yes.
What time does your mother come home?
The following day, Aline King, the mother of Jerome, Kathy, Lois, and Beulah, again was picking beans.
Aileen King, I saw your children yesterday at the Okeechobee camp. Why didn't you put them in the nursery?
Don't make them pay for it.
How much does it cost to put them in?
85 cents.
85 cents.
That's right.
Aileen, what time did you come out the field this morning?
6 o'clock.
What time will you get home?
About 3:30, 4 o'clock.
6 this morning to 4 o'clock this afternoon.
That's right.
How much did you earn?
$1.
$1?
That's right. $1.
Is that because the beans were poor quality?
That's right.
Has this happened before?
That's right.
How much will your food cost you today?
About 2 hours.
Aileen, how old are you?
29.
How many children do you have?
14.
How old were you when you first started working in the fields?
8.
You've been working 21 years in the fields?
That's right.
Aileen, do you ever think you'll be able to get out of this kind of work?
No.
So for those of you who don't know, let me take this off the screen, fam. Sharecropping is slavery. I don't know if y'all heard what she said. He said, how much did you earn a day? She said $1. He asked her, how much does childcare cost? She said 85 cents. She said, how much does food cost? She said $2. Meaning she doesn't earn enough to pay for the food. And her earnings is based upon the quality of the crop. They finessing us. Right? The thing about sharecropping is slavery. They'll say, okay, yeah. Go ahead, you and your family go work the field. If y'all need something, y'all can get credit from the general store. Y'all can use my tools, yada, yada, yada. At the end of the year, when you go to pony up or ante up, they say, well, it looks like you owe me about $5,000. And then Black Cube was like, oh shit, I worked all year and I owe you money. Yeah, that's what sharecropping was.
So again, you got the fool saying small government. Now, this is horrible. That's why I think even Dainels one time said that, oh, there should be no set minimum wage. He's American. If that's the case, then people could do things like this. People that own property, people that work for you, you could finesse them in these ways. That's what I'm saying. These niggas are either dumb or they're just coons. There's a reason for everything. You want small government, so Jesse Lee Peterson said, "Oh, I want small government," which means he's saying he wants to share cropping to continue. He wants his own people to be finessed. It's heart-wrenching to look at that. $2 to eat. She doesn't make enough money to even sustain herself for the day, let alone for the whole week. She probably must have to starve herself just to feed her children and to have other amenities. What as far as like rent, what's going on? Unless she cut a deal with, I don't know. And again, y'all, this is these. You cannot work with these coons. You cannot work with these coons. These coons need to be ostracized from Black society. So you can have racists stop using them as a, look, my Black friend says, but it's nothing but coons. These aren't Black people that are credible in any shape, form, or fashion. Let them be just Republicans. Their Blackness is null and void because they're not speaking from a Black experience. They're not. Look, if they're speaking from a Black experience, they're not speaking from a prideful, proudful Black experience. Put it like that. I'm going to have them commentate a little bit, and we're going to close out.
Slavery. But somebody like Anton would say, they need to stop producing themselves. Go ahead and die. You understand what I'm saying? She's 29 years old with 14 children making $1 a day. $1 a day. $1 a day.
So that's what's it right now, man. It's been a while. I really thank you all for rocking with me, right? But these are the Koonservatives that we're dealing with right now, as you see right over here. You got Sweetwater, Jesse Lee Peterson. You got Sheriff Clark, right? He owned a prison. He had Black people dying in the prisons. Black people dying in the prison, right? You got Kundis Owens. You got the grandfather of them all, Thomas Sorwell. You got and notice all these Negroes, they sleep white. All these Negroes sleep white. I think Jesse Lee Peterson, I think he might have a Black wife, but that doesn't even count. But all of them sleep white. All of them. All of them have a loathsome, dehumanizing view of themselves. So, of course, they have a dehumanizing view of Black people. And this fool just stupid. You know what I'm saying? So, I'm gonna bring it to a close right now. Thank you all that commented on it. Which is gallery here said your audio got better recently. Thank you. Yeah, I was having problems with my audio. YouTube and StreamYard be acting crazy, yo. Thank you for coming on, sharing your thoughts and your views, as well as Liddy. Thank you. Yeah, that's true. That's true. Yeah. Thank you very much for watching, and for everyone else that's just in earshot, just please remember to like, share, subscribe. I really appreciate you all. I was hoping to do a little bit more videos, but you know how it is, everything, in my life, being married, having children and stuff like that. I never get time off like that. But I'm going to try to see if I could do more videos. It's a lot of topics I want to do. I try to see if I could fit them in. But we're going to have our brother Umar close us out in this very powerful message.
When you get to my level of education, you become a coon or a Negro. And what's the difference between a coon and a Negro, Envy? The Negro is innocent in his ignorance. The Negro think Jesus is white. The Negro think white people are smarter. It's not his fault. He's been miseducated, Charlemagne. But the coon is dangerous. The coon knows Jesus wasn't white. The coon knows white people are not superior to blacks, but they will act like they are because they're going to get something for doing so. The coon consciously sells out his people. The Negro does it out of ignorance. I can work with a Negro. Never trust the coon.